I think we're live. It's been a while. Let me just double check. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another exciting episode of Stacker News Live. My name is Carl, the BFF Keon. Keon, how's it going?
Hey, what's up, peoples?
How was your week?
My week is okay. What happened this week? Not a whole lot happened this week.
Keep stalling. I'm trying to see if we're live.
Okay, yeah. I drank 3 coffees today instead of
we're live. We're
my
good.
normal 2, which is too much. I also didn't sleep much, which is so fun sometimes. I don't recommend it, but
You didn't sleep much?
it happens. I woke up at like 3, and then I made the mistake of looking at my phone, which is always a mistake because you like can't go back to sleep after.
Dude, my neighbor, she's upstairs and she has a dog and she has like the weirdest sleep patterns, which she like stomps. And then I was talking to my other neighbor the other day, and I was asking her, who was across from me, and I was like, hey, have you been hearing like the police come down like because we live off of South First, and I was like, have you been hearing the police? She's like, yeah, but I'm able to sleep through it. And I was like, yeah, that keeps waking me up, but now when I wake up, I hear that, and then I can't go back to sleep because I hear the neighbor upstairs, like she's like pacing.
Oh, yeah. That's
So I know
rough.
what you're talking about.
You could put on some headphones or some earplugs if you really.
I think you're right. What do you use for? You use the AirPod Max though.
Well, here, if I'm taking a nap here and Nick happens to be shouting down some shitcoiners or Covenant Maxis,
Yeah.
I'll put on my
I might have to
AirPod
get some,
Maxes and I'll sleep with them. I'll make a dent in my pillow
I might have to get some.
and I'll just.
It's getting pretty loud, especially when the doors open like this. Like you hear everything.
Yeah,
It's loud.
it can. Yeah, but you could.
But you're in the office, so you don't hear anything.
I hear quite a bit. I get a lot more street noise than you guys do, and I can hear pretty well inside the office. You guys can't hear very well outside, from what I can tell. I can yell, I can shout to let you guys in, and you guys won't hear me. So,
Oh, okay. How was your week?
it was pretty excellent. I got some people came to measure the windows.
Oh, nice. You're gonna get
Yeah.
curtains finally.
I'm gonna get my curtains so I can
Cool.
open up those windows all the way, and then
Nice.
also protect myself from the oppressive heat come this summer. And I can
Nice,
still
dude.
work all day in there.
That's good.
That's my plan. How was your week?
Dude, a lot of. I went to the doctor
R&R?
twice this week.
Twice.
Yeah, I had to get blood work, and then went in for like a rash I was having. Super embarrassing, but it is what it is. And then so I got that taken care of. It's kind of clearing up on my face already, so that's kind of
They
good.
gave you like a steroid?
No, it was like a 2% thing, cortisone type of thing.
Yeah, it's a steroid.
Ah, okay. And then so I did that, and then got some harsh news. It was like, hey, dude, you need to lose weight. so I'm on full diet mode. So if you see a Snickers bar in my hands,
Smack it out.
Smack it out. So I need to drop weight. So I had to go back in like 3 weeks and
Check
I
in.
need to have to check my weight again.
You gonna get that Ozempic?
I don't know what that is. Everybody keeps telling me. Francisco was telling me about that earlier. I don't know what that is, but they gave me some other medication.
It's like some
Supposed to-
injection.
No, I'm not gonna do that. No, because like I have like high blood pressure, so I gotta like get that curbed before.
Yeah.
But she just wants me to move more. Obviously, the sugars, all that kind of stuff. So I already had been doing that already, but now it's like serious. So
Cool.
it was like kind of one of those things where like I already knew I was doing bad. It's kind of like when you're like drinking heavily, and your friends are telling you like, "Hey, dude, you're an alcoholic."
Do you have experience with this?
No, I don't, because I've never been an alcoholic. But it's kind of one of those things where you're like, it's like a realization.
Yeah. I think
But it was like, it was kind of like that. But like, I don't want to make an excuse, but a lot of it was just due to work. Like the past 2 years, I've just been focused on Pleb Lab and putting that first. And it was I finally feel like now it's like I'm going to start putting myself first.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's a good move.
So you'll see Car less and less.
No, I think
I'm just kidding.
I think what you'll be surprised by is taking better care of yourself means you show up at work more.
That's what Kiki was telling me earlier when I was talking to her. She was telling me, she's like, it'll start off kind of weird because you'll have that weird adjustment. She goes, but it'll be like spring cleaning, and then after a while you'll actually work more because you'll feel better and stuff. So, anyways,
Yeah.
I'm just gonna prioritize more of myself that makes any sense.
That makes a lot of sense. I think that sounds great. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah. Yeah, but it was some realness the past 24, 48 hours, 72 hours, I guess.
Okay, 72 hours. That's like the sequel to 24 hours.
We'll see. I got like 3 weeks, so she wants me to drop like 10 pounds in 3 weeks. You think that's possible?
10 pounds in 3 weeks?
You think that's possible?
Oh, it's definitely possible. You could do it. That's not too bad.
Start chugging water.
Yeah, just dude, you drop. You know what to do. You know what's up. You just gotta do it, right?
Just gonna start drinking water and
Sugars.
remove sugars and yeah, just start eating tacos.
You've done. I've seen you drop a lot of weight before, so you know how to do it.
Yeah. Cool. All right. Well, if you've never seen this crazy show before, we talk about all sorts of things in our lives that we're struggling with because we're keeping it real, stackers. We keep it real. We're one of the last places that that talk about our lives. I don't know. Do other podcasts talk about their lives? Does like Joe Rogan and Anthony Peterson or I'm sorry, not Anthony, but Jordan Peterson. Do they talk about their lives?
I think the difference is they have lives, and so they don't talk about them. But we don't have them, so we're like kind of.
We talk about our struggles.
Yeah, like our lack of a life.
Oh, that's probably true. Well,
Yeah.
see, I never try to be something I'm not. I just talk about what's real, and I talk about my circumstances, and I know you do as well too. Like you don't hide. I probably share more than you. I'll probably overshare, but I don't care, dude.
I don't know
Like
about that. I think it's fine. No one listens. If we were really popular, different story. Yeah, probably might. We might change what we share, but we have like maybe 30 people who actually listen.
yeah, dude. I was in South Austin though this week. Dude, South Austin's really nice. Really, really nice. So many nice
Like
people
deep
down
south,
there.
like far.
No, it's just like South Austin because that's where my physician's at, and it's just like so much nicer over there. The people are nicer. It's quieter. Suburban-ish.
Ooh, are you gonna move to a suburb car?
No, but I used to live down there. I used to live off of like Brody and William Cannon, and it was so much. I forgot how nice it was. Anyways, but yeah, if you've never seen this crazy show before, you should check it out. It's called Stacker News Live.
You are checking it out.
We have this YouTube channel that's growing exponentially. Actually, it's not. Let me see if it comes. Oh, actually, it comes up. Look, when you
I
type
think
in.
it's growing linearly.
Look, you click on it, and look, shows us we're going live. There's 4 people watching right now. We have 3 more subscribers this week. We need you to hit that subscribe button, hit the bell, like they say, and then if you want to follow us, we're on Fountain, we're on Twitter, we're on all sorts of things. Don't
let our subscriber number fall lower than our video count, please. That's really the mark of death.
Yeah, we're at 330.
One subscriber per video.
We just need to get like 1 or 2 subscribers per week. Look, even we're getting that dust one that we did last week. Got like more views than the whole episode, which is crazy.
Because it said we were explaining something.
Is that what it was? It was mostly just Austin.
I think that was it.
It's because we had Austin out here explaining that.
I think it was because it seemed educational, and people like education.
People clicked on it. Yeah. Then look, you just need to hold your head more like this. Look, if you hold your head like that, do your head like that right now. Oh. See, people will click on that. It's because you're showing skin right there.
Oh, my wrist.
That's what it is.
They want to see my wrist.
Showing your wrist. We need to talk about more El Salvador stuff. Wrist. Anyways, Yago loves it. Click on it. Cool. We're going to jump into the top stories this week here on Stacker.news, the front page of Bitcoin. The first we're going reverse. This is number 5, right?
Yes.
The number 5 top story.
No, this is actually the first top story.
Oh, my bad. The number 5 top story this week is, are humans hardwired to form tribes and disagree? This is from Stack Harder, April 1st. SN territory, 22 comments, 780 cents. Keon, what's this?
Yeah, so Stack Harder is asking if we're tribal by nature. It seems like a consensus would be yes, we are tribal by nature. I would guess scientists would say that. I just feel like that is like a fact that I take for granted. I don't have any evidence for that. But I do think we form tribes fairly easily. I believe it was probably evolved to affiliate with people on some arbitrary thing and leverage each other to further each other. So yeah, I think we are tribal. What do you think?
I think especially in Bitcoin, it's super tribal. I really didn't ever experience that until I got into Bitcoin, to be honest, if I'm being completely honest. I mean, I felt like when I was, the only other type of community I ever experienced was in the music space before I got into Bitcoin. That's kind of similar, that I would be similar. So, but in music, there was a lot of the same types of people where it was like the musicians and then there's like the creative types. So, but it wasn't tribal. It was like very much everybody was helping each other type of thing. So when I came into Bitcoin, that was my mindset of like how I thought it would be. And then I slowly realized over time that it wasn't like that.
What do you think the tribes are in Bitcoin? If you had to name like the top 3 tribes.
Here, let me think about that. I think from what I can tell, I think I'm being completely honest here. I think from what I can tell, the tribes are circled around power. And it seems like there are certain individuals in Bitcoin that and in certain companies that just want power and control. And whenever I think of like individuals, they're tied to those companies and they're tied to the to that control as well too. And then they just want more power. It's not even about like what's best for the ecosystem or what's best for the individuals. It's just literally about more control, more power. It's kind of sad, really, and that's what I think is the weird, the more different, the different thing in.
Let's see. So there are tribes around that's like cult of personality. There are tribes around certain personalities who are accruing power.
Yeah, just for the sake of having more power and control. And I think it's because it is Bitcoin. It is because it is money, and so it's. And then you also see it kind of like around people chasing clout for the sake of clout. Right. So like there will be people that will literally just talk about themselves for the sake of talking about themselves. And, you know, in music, like when I was going through that community, it was like other people talking about that musician was how word got around about how great of a musician you were. So like that's how people knew how great of a musician you were or how talented you were, was because other people were talking about you. That's how word spread about how great of a musician you were. So, but in Bitcoin, I've noticed it's the complete opposite. It's like you have to like clout chase and talk about yourself in order for people to know how great you are. And that to me just never really rubbed me the right way.
Oh, that's interesting. And that might be, I think you're associating that with the tribal nature of Bitcoin and these cults of personality, where they're kind of starving other people of power, recognition, because they don't want to take away from the power and recognition of themselves.
And that's the only two things I can correlate. But that's why, like for me, I can see it plain as day because I came from that scene. And then, you know, what's funny is because whenever I talk about this, like behind the scenes with other people, and the people that get it the same way I do, I start talking to them and they're like, oh, they get it. And then you know where they're from? They're from like the music. They also were in a band and they also came from that scene. So they also understand it too.
Do you talk to people in one of these tribes about this ever? And how do they respond?
What do you mean these tribes? Like,
well, you said there's like these cults of personality in Bitcoin, and they have followers. Do you talk to their followers ever and get a sense that they're aware of what they're like complicit in?
I'm sure I have, like over a beer or something. But it's like talking to it's just like something that it sounds more like you're just like hating or something. You know what I mean? Like
there's no way to convince someone.
You can't. Like that's not something you're supposed to bring up, if that makes any sense. It's like, do you ever see 50 Cent and like Jay-Z? So they have like a big beef with each other.
Oh,
did you know that? Yeah, and like 50 Cent will like every chance he gets, he like hates on Jay-Z.
Oh man.
And apparently, I didn't even know this, but 50 Cent like will always say like Jay-Z is like the most overrated rapper of all time, which I don't even think that's true, but apparently 50 Cent thinks it is. And he'll say that Jay-Z doesn't sell records. Like he just doesn't sell records, but 50 Cent actually sells a ton of records, like worldwide. He like bang for bang, he sells more records than Jay-Z. And it's actually true when you look at it. But the music industry props up Jay-Z because of all his like key ties to the ecosystem. This is from what
Better at making friends than 50 Cent maybe.
Yeah, or his ties to everything. Anyways, yeah. So I don't know how we got here, but
cool. Yeah. So they're tribes. Their tribes in Bitcoin are probably hardwired for them, and they're everywhere you look, and they're not necessarily bad. I think in many cases they're good. We'll do a book review today that kind of touches on this a little bit. One of my top stories, but yeah.
Yeah, I think at the end of the day, it really doesn't matter. In any scene or in any ecosystem or in any industry, like everything that's great will rise to the top, and that's just inevitably how it plays out. And even if somebody tries to suppress something, I've just seen time and time again, you can't suppress something that's just meant for greatness. Like, that's what I've seen over and over and again. And when I've also noticed, like, especially in Bitcoin, even when people try to suppress things, you actually kind of force it up. It's kind of like putting a balloon underwater. You kind of just, the more you try to suppress it, the more it actually just, you actually just force it. Yeah, you actually build it up even more. So
you make it real.
You actually make it happen faster. Yeah. So you're actually better off helping
doing your thing. Yeah.
Yeah. Or yeah. Anyways, good stuff.
Good stuff.
The next top story, the number 4 top story is, who could Bitcoin builders be serving better? This is from BirdEye21, March 31st, Bitcoin territory. This is 22 comments, 3,540 sats. Keon, what's this?
Yeah, so BirdEye's back. BirdEye took about a year off Stacker News, but they asked these great questions and got a big discussion going. That is their legacy. But they asked this question. So who are we ignoring as Bitcoin builders? Their own answer is that small and medium business owners, we tend to ignore them a lot, even though they basically make up the majority of businesses, a super majority of businesses. And we should maybe stop focusing on corporations and institutions and individuals. I think that's an interesting point. I probably wouldn't agree that should be the primary focus. I personally would suggest that internet applications are probably the most overlooked and probably more likely to have a great product market fit for Bitcoin than any other sector, beyond, of course, store of value use cases. But as medium exchange use cases, I think we're likely to see Bitcoin succeed on the internet before we do in person, because it is natively there, and internet people are going to have an easier time using Bitcoin than someone who maybe only has a phone and doesn't really transact on the internet much. Justin Shocknet has a similar idea. I've heard from, I think it was Shinobi, which I really liked. He said that we shouldn't be trying to compete with credit cards. We should be trying to use Bitcoin everywhere where a credit card does not make sense. And that kind of overlaps with my thinking on medium exchange. One of the reasons why I think Stacker News hasn't existed before and things like Zaps on Nostr haven't existed before is because credit cards are ill-suited so you don't want to KYC into a social client, although everyone in Bitcoin does for the most part. But you also don't want to pay the credit card fees and deal with all of that to send people pennies. So I think that's a great insight. So that would be my answer. What about yours? Do you feel like there's anywhere in particular?
I think churches, to be honest, and I feel like, but I also know they wouldn't accept them. So it's kind of like a
tithings.
Well, not even that. It's just I feel like they would probably be the best served And I know there's like the Bitcoin church conference that they have once a year.
Yeah, Bitcoin for Christians. Or
yeah,
something.
and then I know like G's talked about it with his church. I've never brought it up, but they've asked me a couple of questions around Bitcoin, but I try not to like bring it up ever. But I do think like if they were set up to accept Bitcoin, I think that would be just beneficial to churches just in general, because they would be able to have like an Unchained account and be able to grow that over time, and it would be beneficial to them. I also think like nonprofits would be beneficial to them too as well. Who else?
Anywhere where they have a balance sheet, they have an endowment of some kind.
Yeah, like the University of Austin here. Like I think that's a really good one.
Well, yeah, they're doing that, right? With Unchained partnered with
most education places. I would say you should have something like that. Who else? I think those type of people, but I don't think that's on the builders. I think that's more on like the biz developers.
Yeah,
the biz dev people. Who else? I really want to see gas. I feel like gas is like an untapped.
You want to pay for gas in Bitcoin?
No, not me personally, but like I do feel like that's just an untapped. And electricity. I feel like electricity and gas is just two untapped markets that.
I bet Austin from Sonoto would agree with you.
That are just like ripe for Bitcoin disruption especially gas at the pump. Like there's no reason why you have to settle with a credit card. And then, so especially with cards that like they'll hold like 50 or so. Have you ever done that where you pay with like your debit card, and like if you pre-auth it like charges you like $75 at the pump, and then it holds it for like 4 days or something, but you only paid like $20 in gas. It does that at some gas stations. Not all
really?
of them.
I haven't heard that
Yeah. It's happened to me like a few times where it's just super annoying. And then and then there's what else? And then but like it would make more sense if you just you just zapped.
Yeah, as you pumped gas, like streaming. It's like a podcast. It's like gas 2.0, like podcasting 2.0 for gas.
Get Adam Curry on it.
Yeah, Adam Curry needs to start.
Adam Curry needs to build a gas station. That'd be funny. I'm sure he could do
Buc-ee's for Bitcoin.
I'm sure he could do it where he lives. He could totally build a gas station. Dude, people would come out there to check out his gas station just to pump gas.
You could play his podcasts while you're like.
Dude, actually, you know what? You know what probably would make more sense? Maybe Elon should probably do that. He could probably do that with this Tesla supercharger thing.
Oh, right. He could do micropayments.
He could totally do micropayments. Maybe that's where he needs to start.
Yeah, but he's not going to do Bitcoin because he doesn't seem to be much of a Bitcoiner.
That and I think other places to mine Bitcoin would be cool too. But I don't know. Like there was this guy I talked to at the mining summit last year, and he was trying to do something in the ocean where he was trying to mine Bitcoin with ocean water.
Whoa.
I don't know how he was going to do it, but it sounded cool.
They have power generators that you can put in the ocean. Waves. They use the waves.
Yeah.
That's cool.
That and like space mining would be cool.
Oh, that'd be really cool. You just drop a crate in the oceon.
And the waves
and it just mines Bitcoin.
But how would it generate?
From the waves. The waves have energy. You harvest the energy in some kind of turbine that it spins a fan, kind of like a wind turbine, but it's using water instead of air.
But how would you keep it in the pocket where it could still get like 3G or 4G or whatever?
The internet connectivity might be a problem, but you could maybe figure that out. I bet you could have some kind of radio signal that could reach land.
Maybe you keep it like in one of those shrimp boat nets.
Oh, so you can pull it up?
Yeah.
Oh, well, maybe. Yeah, you probably need to service it a little bit. But maybe you can get like older miners that you don't mind if they go bad. You just drop them in the ocean, harvesting.
Just drop them with maybe out there in like where the
just litter the ocean.
maybe they just like put them with the crab, those little crab things.
Yeah, have them maintain it. Have the crabs. Put them a little AI chip in them.
They probably make just as much money as those crabs.
Yeah, better. Yeah, we could have the Alaskan fishermen get the miners and service them as part of their
That'd be amazing.
as part of their deadliest catch.
Look at this. All the problems we're fixing.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
That's what's really overlooked is
What else did
crab
Justin say? So
harvesting,
Justin
Bitcoin
just
miners.
said,
he's talking about similar things where we're just kind of focused on like the meat space. He's basically like meat space is poorly suited for Bitcoin right now, which is, I think anyone who's thought about this a bit would agree.
yeah.
But or at least anyone who's building things that are not in meat space have made the journey of deciding that meat space is going to be much harder.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. You have to already be a Bitcoiner for that kind of stuff.
Yeah, he said when people pay with Bitcoin primarily in meat space, it's to virtue signal
And just to support the space itself.
Yeah, to be
Good
supportive of
stewards.
Bitcoiners.
Cool. The next top story is number 3 top story of the week. Assuming all other needs are met, what do you want to leave the world with? This is from Bird-Eye21. Ask Stacker News territory, April 2nd, 39 comments, 939 sats. This is Bird-Eye's second top story of the week.
Bird-Eye's second top story this
Wow.
week. They had another great post about Bitcoin in Guatemala, but I didn't want to include it as my top post because it would
Jeez.
give them too many top posts.
Didn't he just come back like a week ago?
They just came back.
Wow.
Yeah.
How long has Bird-Eye been a stacker for?
I think since
23?
23, mid 23.
There you go. Just shows you can come
That was
back.
when Stacker News was popping, really popping. What did we? Oh yeah. So, all your other needs are met. You're like rich. You have all the food and everything you want. Maybe all the people, things. What do you want to leave? Like you have so much life. You have so much abundance that you can leave something for other people when you're gone. And so what would the Bird-Eye's asking, what would we want to leave the world with? And so a lot of stackers have some great answers. My answer is I'm working on it. Basically, I want to leave Stacker News. My hope is to make it, I call it an economic organism, where it's like living by virtue of its incentives. That's my goal. Not that all my needs are met, but that is one of my needs. So that's what I'm trying to work on. And then we have, what about you, Carl? What would you leave?
Me?
Yeah.
Oh, man, I don't like thinking about this kind of stuff. Let's keep reading. Maybe when I read all theirs, I'll have a better idea.
Okay. Yeah.
So you said yours would be what?
I said I'm working on what
Stacker
I want to
News.
leave. Stacker News is what I want to leave.
So-
I want to be able to leave in Stacker News.
Okay, so
continues to live.
Carter said, he had the top one. Carter said some scientific advancement or math theorem. Oh, that's cool.
That is a cool one.
Swap Market said that'd be cool. Alt said, I don't really know yet. I'm at the age when I'm thinking about having children. Oh, that's cool. Want to raise them to be better, happier, more successful than me. So the ultimate goal with children is to shape them better people than yourself. Oh, that's awesome. EK says, I want to lead them with software where my name is in the credits and nobody knows who this guy is. And then she said, you want to be the guy from Nebraska. And then they shared this photo.
Yeah, this is
All
the
model.
XKCD.
Maintaining since 2003, except I'm dead. What is that referencing? So there's like a guy that...
Oh, no. So, like, if you build, you build any modern programming application, you're basically, you're dependent on a bunch of stuff.
Oh, okay.
That exists, that was written potentially a long time ago, or been still being maintained, and it's like that. There's like several of these random thankless people potentially in the middle of nowhere who've been doing it for years. They're like holding up the whole banking infrastructure based on one library they maintain. Yeah, it's a
real thing.
Yeah, it's a very serious interdependence that we all have.
OT said it's a tough question. It kind of implies that you want to make a name for yourself. Also that you would leave something fixed that would remain around forever. I need to think about it more. Just my son proudly doing his own thing. Some people still use libraries. Aardvark says, I'm not a big fan of Michael Saylor, and I don't think he's good for Bitcoin. Having said that, recently he said that when he dies, he basically wants to burn his personal keys. I haven't thought about it extensively, but I kind of like that idea, so maybe that.
Decrease the Bitcoin supply.
Yeah, it doesn't sound like a lot of people Thought about it. G said, couple things as a builder, something that lasts. As a man, to see how many lives I can possibly impact. Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah, that seems about right. As an invention, I don't know. I really don't know, to be honest. I never thought about it. What I want to leave the world with.
Ever thought about your legacy? That's the way a lot of people would describe it.
No, not really. I think if I had all my needs met, what do I want to leave the world with? I just want to live a good life. If that makes any sense. Like I want people to say like, oh man, that guy lived a great life.
Oh, you want to be an example.
Is that something?
You want to be a positive example. You want to leave a positive example.
I guess so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess when people say like, oh, that guy lived a good life, like that was a good life. Like there's some people that have died in my life where I'm like, I still think about them where I'm like, man, that guy had a good life. And then there's stories told about him like, oh man, do you remember when so-and-so, like, I like that. I always like, there's the people that like, that you still talk about after they're gone. Like those are the people that I always loved. Like the people that were like, it's super inspiring when they were living. And then when they're gone, you still talk about them or you act like they're still here. Like those are the people that like, cool. So whatever that is.
You want to leave a story. Yeah. An impression. Yeah.
So
example, I would say.
Yeah. Just like somebody that people would be like, oh, that guy he lived a good life.
I want to be like that guy.
No, not like that guy, but more like, oh, he was super funny or like, you know, something like that. Yeah.
Cool.
Or inspire me to do this.
So you want to be a comedian when all your needs are met. You want to become a comedian?
Yeah.
I know
kind of like Kubrick was one of those guys where like to this day people still talk about that guy, or like Steve Jobs is one of those people where people still talk about that guy, right? Or like Tesla, right? Like he like just like some like something where people
anything
like that mattered, right? Like even we were talking about Flannery O'Connor the other day with somebody, and like people still talk about her. Like so, it doesn't need to be a big or small. It just needs to be something that mattered in the history of the world. That's all I would say.
That's nice.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Cool. The number 4 top story, which is, I think this should have been the top story of the week.
This is the number 2 top story.
Or the number 2 top story of the week.
Yeah.
Which I think is the biggest top story of the week. BitcoinDev mailing list deplatformed from Google Groups. I don't mean to laugh. I'm sorry. BitcoinDev, Bitcoin territory, April 2nd. Saunter posted this. 30 comments, 47,000 sats. Keon, who and what is going on? Why did the BitcoinDev mailing list get deplatformed? Of all places, Google Groups.
I don't think we know exactly, because like a YouTube channel getting taken down or an X account getting taken down, it's likely some combination of automated things and poorly paid analysts making these decisions. But it looks like they got a response eventually, and it said something like their content was unwanted. That was like the literal quote.
By who?
By whoever decides such things.
Google?
Someone at Google, because Google would make this decision. Someone who works at Google Groups. Obviously, Google's like this huge, massive megacorp.
Deep states, some people say.
Well, I doubt it. I doubt a deep state person would do this. I would think they would do something smarter, because this is just empowers people.
Do you think it was the AI then?
I would guess it was someone probably flagged it. Then some AI maybe agreed. It's like cryptocurrency, and then maybe labeled as cryptocurrency. And then it came to an analyst's computer, and they're like, "Oh, it isn't crypto. It is cryptocurrency. Yes, the AI is right." And it got banned. Maybe something like that. Maybe some rogue employee at Google was like, "I hate Bitcoin. It's ruining the environment." I recently read a
but don't they know? But
paper in
isn't
Nature.
there like Google Ventures invested in Bitcoin companies though? Like.
Yeah, but it's not all. They don't all talk to each other, and they don't all agree. They aren't a tribe in the sense where they are like
Google's
aligned ideologically.
Alphabet's not a big tribe.
It's an alphabet of people. It's like a full mix of perspectives, I imagine.
Somebody should send an email.
Yeah, you give the wrong person wrong power. Like early Gemini. You remember early Gemini? They put like some very serious, some very woke people in charge of Gemini at Google before it got really good.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Yeah,
that was just last year, wasn't it?
Yeah, all the founding fathers were people of color.
They were black, right?
Yeah,
that was crazy.
Oh, and women, I think too. And it's like okay, because they excessively prompted for it to produce such things. Anyway, so that's how these things happen. It's like a rogue person who maybe got too much power, very good at the political game.
This kind of blew up, dude. This kind of blew up. Yeah,
people were pretty upset. I mean, because this would be the second move of the BitcoinDev mailing list, and it feels like it really had it lost a lot of momentum that it had on the original mailing list, which was just a few years ago.
Which I will say this, so obviously it got restored. Peter Todd jumped in and said that it has now been restored. But Optimism came in there and he said, I'm sure this all went well. Each of our individual minds as what can possibly go wrong when the move happened. And we all fell into the trap of gaslighting ourselves that this would not happen. It happened. Sovereignty is a thing. And then I jumped in because I thought it was hilarious because I remember this distinctly happening like when it happened the first time or when everybody was deciding. And I shared this link because Arsync had posted at that time. And I remember there was a conversation around this. And you had posted this at one point.
Yeah, I think they should do they should move to Delving. It's they have someone with write access to the Bitcoin Core repo maintains a discourse server, which hosts a community that's moderated and it has email on it. And they should probably use that.
And then you said, I think they'd be happiest on Delving as it has all the features they want. Arguably, it's kind of a regression, but as far as I can tell, it's a regression in ways they're confident aren't important. And yeah, and that was that. And then it never happened.
Yeah. Well, Google Groups is really nice. It has a lot of nice features, and you don't have to rely on a core maintainer having a second job as a moderator of an instance, a discourse instance. But it does come with this downside of trusting Google not to take it offline if they don't like Bitcoin for some reason. Maybe they launch a Gemini coin, and they're like, we don't want competition from Bitcoin.
Yeah.
Goog coin.
Yeah, Brian Bishop posts, we're back. Well, where do you see this going? Do you think it's just...
I think it'll probably happen a couple more times, and hopefully we'll have something better eventually.
Do you think it'll happen again, really?
Oh, why not? Why not?
Give or take over under 365 days from now.
365?
Yeah.
Let's see. No, I don't think it happens that soon. I think it probably entered some list. I mean, it got to the point where Jack Dorsey was tweeting at Sundar. I think it's how you say it.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And yeah, so at that, Jack Dorsey's like, hey, billionaire friend, what? Oh, and what about this? And then I assume it got like prioritized, and maybe it's like on an anti-ban. That's like a explicit whitelist now, or it doesn't get banned.
Oh,
maybe until Sundar is gone.
So, what do you think? Over?
I don't know. I don't know how odds work. How do odds work?
Over a year, under a year.
What does that mean?
So, do you think it's going to get? You think it's going to get banned again? I would say I would give it. I would get 2.5 years. I would say 2027.
Okay, that sounds good to me. I like that.
2027.
2027.
I wasn't expecting you to say that. But that feels right. Because yeah, I think by then they'll forget about it.
Yeah, they'll forget about They'll forget about Jack Dorsey carrying and
yeah,
the fallout.
Crazy. Yeah, I was shocked that it got deplatformed. Because look, dude, they don't really talk about I mean, look at the stuff they're talking about. It's super like nerdy stuff.
Yeah, they're not talking about overthrowing the government or ending the Fed.
Look.
They're just having a technical conversation about
maybe they'll talk about
Bitcoin
like
stuff.
full disclosure, like I don't know. Yeah, look at that. I don't know. To me, it just was kind of weird. I don't know. It feels coordinated by Google personally. That's where my pleb spidey sense goes to. Feels coordinated. But stackers, let us know what you think, or hit the comments. Cool. We're gonna jump into the number one top story of the week. But yeah, let's jump into it. Okay. The number one top story of the week is, does extreme wealth change people? This is from Delapan, March 29th. Ask Stacker News. 51 comments, 14.99 sets. Keon, does extreme wealth change people? Question mark.
Yeah, Joaquim is dog sitting for some friends who he says their net worth is 100x larger than his. And he says it isn't affecting him at all. He says maybe he had some expectation that their insane house, which I assume is 100x fancier, 100x bigger on some dimension, would have an impact on him and how he felt about himself. But he said it had none, and he found that I think somewhat surprising, or maybe not. Maybe he'd already come in touch with that before. But he's still just doing human stuff and caring about the things he cares about. And, so he asks everyone if they think that wealth changes people. His impression is that wealth wouldn't change him. Living through someone else's wealth is probably different than having it yourself. But it's probably a pretty good example or a good experience to get acquainted with such feelings. And then we had Jimmy Song here.
Oh, Jimmy said, this is why getting rich slowly is a blessing. It gives you time to acclimate and frankly mature before you get to the next stage. People that are given lots of money at once generally don't handle windfalls well, and you can tell because they end up with divorces and few friends just 3 to 5 years later. The slow growing wealth has generally sorted people out in the Bitcoin community. People that can't handle wealth do something dumb with it and lose it. It's not a coincidence that a lot of people that have pumped a Bitcoin in the past are now pumping altcoins in jail or something in between. I expect a lot of the spiritual searching that I've seen in Bitcoiners is from this dilemma. You don't have a good base of morals to operate from. You're not going to be able to handle being rich. Wow. Keon, what do you think?
I thought that was great. I particularly love the last part where, because we do get asked this question a lot, or we see it a lot, where people say that Bitcoin really changed them. And but basically, Jimmy's theory is that getting wealthy is what is giving them that journey, is them having the space and time maybe to think a little more about their life and really examine themselves is what is actually going on. So I think that's a really cool point, actually.
Stack Carter said, echoing Jimmy's song, I think a lot depends on the existing moral foundation, plus the age at which you get the wealth. Like if you give me $1 million plus, no strings attached now, my life would basically not change. I would still do the exact same things and play the same games, but maybe get a nicer car and finish off the various garden construction projects. But I was 15 or 20 at my peak. Retarded probably would generally make bad decisions. Oh, I don't know. What do you think, Keon? I have probably a different aspect to this.
I think wealth does change people.
I think it does too. I think it makes you more of what you really are, personally.
Yeah, that was said in the comments.
Oh, was that okay?
Yeah, a couple people said that in the comments.
I think it makes you what you already are that most people don't see, personally.
So it's like being drunk. They say that about being drunk too. You become who you really are when you're drunk. That's what people say.
No, I don't think that's true.
Oh, okay. Well, I think it does change people. I think in many cases, it seems like it changes them it can change them for the worse, and make them a little protective. I think it gives you something to lose And so you have this aversion to kind of, I think, strangely, you'd think you'd be willing to take more risk. And I think in some cases you become less willing to take risks, especially like social risk. When you imagine that your opinion on something, sharing your opinion on something might cause you to lose wealth or status that you've gained, you just have a lot to lose. So I think that can contribute negatively. I think on the other hand, it can be empowering to people who are confident in their ability to maintain their wealth or get it back should they take such a risk. And I think that's, back to Jimmy's point, the slow accumulation of that probably makes it more likely that you're going to end up on the good side of being wealthy because you're not really shocked and scared by it.
Yeah. Yeah. I like what Dar says, because you have no idea what is wealth. You think that some numbers in a wallet is wealth. You're wrong. Wealth is time. Time to be spent as you like. It is not a luxury or other BS cars, palace mansions, and other crap. Simple life and a lot of time to spend in peace worth more than gazillion numbers. I really wish Bitcoin price would dump. Dude, as I get older, I agree with him that true wealth is time. Like being able to do whatever you want when you want, to me, is something that I value way more now than I did in my 20s. And I would say when I was like, doing the normie 9 to 5 type of thing and money coming in and it was, everything was fine. I would say like at that time, I really didn't appreciate my wealth, but I also just bought stupid shit. Like, you know what I mean?
Mm.
And now I feel like I don't buy anything and I'm far happier, if that makes any sense.
Yeah. Because you have more control over your time.
Yeah. I don't know if that's like, but I do think wealth changes you for sure. Yeah. Because I've seen it. Like I've seen people around us like get wealthy and definitely changes you for sure.
Do they change for the better or for the worse?
I mean, we've seen firsthand what happens. No names, but
I don't know. I don't know how many people I've seen, at least in Bitcoin, go from poor to wealthy. At least, yeah. I don't have good examples that come to mind. I do have some. I mean, I know some people make bad decisions and lose it, but
I think it's better to stay humble.
Stay humble.
Stay humble and
stack e-cash.
Stack e-cash. Stack liquid. Stack liquid, stack e-cash, stack some nuts, stack some, what else? Stack steaks. Stack everything but Bitcoin, I would say.
Stack pork ribs.
Don't stack Bitcoin. Stack waters.
Not those nuts.
Stack health.
Different nuts.
Stack health. Stack e-cash.
Time.
Hang on, let me get this right. Stack e-cash. Stack your health. Stack steaks. Stack ETFs. Stack stable coins. Stack. What else?
Strategy stock.
Stack strategy stock. Stack. What else? Tesla stock. Stack 2 and 3, 4x derivatives. Stack
Our
treasury bonds.
trad shitcoiner here.
Stack TradFi stocks. Whatever you do not stack Bitcoin. That's what I would say.
Don't stack sats. It's
now
too hard.
We sound like a normal Bitcoin podcast now, Keon.
It's too hard for you to stack sats. Don't do it.
Do not stack sats.
Yeah.
Now we sound like a normal Bitcoin podcast. See how easy that was?
Dude, we're gonna blow up.
We're gonna blow up now.
We're gonna get so many subscribers. We're gonna get our own VC fund.
Oh man. See how easy that was? We just need to sell out like that. I'm kidding. I'm joking around.
Yeah.
Fake. I'm staying in my lane. I was just joking around. It's just for the jokes. Okay, cool. That's all the top stories of the week. We're going to jump into our stories of the week. First, I'm going to do mine, Keon, because it gets pretty political here. We're going to talk about JFK. Dude, I saw this. So there's a ton of JFK stuff that's out there because all the stuff's
I missed that you post this.
I posted in the middle of the night because I woke up one evening and my neighbor.
I've seen this.
Dude, you've seen the movie?
Yeah, I've seen it probably twice before.
I've seen it once. This is my first time seeing it over the weekend. Dude, it's by far like, I even wrote a freaking article, or not an article, mini thing. Dude, it's by far one of the craziest movies I've ever seen. The ending by far is just the best ending ever. I'm not a fan of Oliver Stone just in general, but you can't deny the way he writes. Like, he wrote Scarface. He wrote he's written a ton of like major motion pictures. Yeah, like the guy is phenomenal. Anyways, regardless, like there's a ton of stuff that's coming out with the JFK stuff. Like I think Glenn Beck has been posting some really great stuff, but a lot of it really goes back to this movie. Like all they're doing is just, they're just describing this movie like almost verbatim, not entirely verbatim, but so if you want just like a shortcut of like what's going on with all the JFK files, just watch this movie. That's all I would say. And that could shortcut you into what's coming out. Like, because I haven't seen anything that's out there right now that that kind of really explains what happened. Because it was before my time. It was before, I don't know if it was before. It was before everybody's time. But little known fact, it was all this stuff was supposed to get released in 2029, and it actually Trump bumped it up by 4 years, so it got released in 2025. So I would say I didn't know that going into it. And the movie is the reason that it got released or was going to get released in 2029. The other thing I will say this, dude, the CIA is fucked up. Like the way he explains it in this movie, like I even say it right here. Like I can't fathom. This is what I said. I said I can't fathom how anyone could, in good conscience, serve in the CIA after watching this movie. If this is true, Keon, like I couldn't understand how you could serve in the CIA with in good conscience. It's just, to me, it's like, it's insane.
I think that I could see that, but it's kind of like I think the CIA is probably a lot like Google, in that there's like a diversity of people in them, and some of the people in the CIA are good and doing things that are good for not only maybe Americans but the world in many cases. Where they're they're involved in the intelligence gathering of other countries who might be trying to harm us. That seems like maybe at least morally ambiguous.
Show me that movie.
But yeah,
get better at like explaining what you're doing well. Yeah, because this is not a good example. If that's really what's going on, then like show me a better documentary or a movie of where that is, because this is not good for you. Like this is bad. Like this is really bad, because it shows just how almost like it's just bad all the way around. Like, and I had never seen this. Like I didn't even know this movie existed. So I started watching some of the Glenn Beck stuff, and that's because I'm not very political and I don't really give a crap about this stuff. But it was just so much stuff like that's on YouTube right now talking about the JFK stuff. So I was just like, okay, I was like, what's going on? Because after a while, I was just like, what's going on with the JFK stuff? So anyways, any of the stackers at home want to check it out, definitely I recommend watching this movie first, or the Glenn Beck stuff. It's really entertaining, and you'll get a better idea of like what the hell's going on.
I mean, it's an antique movie now.
Dude, a lot of amazing actors too. Joe Pesci's in here. Oh my god,
really?
Yeah.
What does he play? JFK?
He plays like one of the crazy dudes there.
He plays someone.
Yeah, he's like some crazy guy. He's like, there's both sides. They're playing both sides. There's one side, then he's on the other side. Then he's on this side. Then he's on this side. It's crazy, dude. Yeah, and then this guy, the guy Kevin Costner, man.
Wow. There's Kevin Bacon.
Kevin Bacon's in there too. But Kevin Costner, like that guy Garrison, like he's literally the guy responsible for.
Dude, look at those eyebrows.
Even JFK even having this hearing. Oh, John Candy's in there.
Oh, wow.
Donald Sutherland's like deep state Donald Sutherland. That guy, the guy from The Walking Dead's in there.
Who's that guy? Oh, that's Kevin Costner. That's right.
Yeah, so good. Anyways, Sackers, check it out. The second thing I want to bring it back down to earth. We've been posting all the top builder videos from the final round, so check them out. I know the stackers wanted to see if we were going to post these. They're all there now. Shopster, Branta, SatsGG, Lightning Bounties posted that one just before the show. So if you want to check out all the teams that made the final round, check it out. And then also, we're doing a workshop series, a Rust workshop series that's coming up in April. and
Paired with a vibe coding.
paired with a Rusty Vibe coding hackathon. And we're getting the guys, we're getting Ben Carmen, dude. Carmen's doing a building a Rust wallet with LDK Node.
From Scala to Rust, this guy knows everything.
We're getting Paul, can you believe it? Paul doesn't come out very much.
Oh, no. He's quiet, wise man.
And when he does, you know it's a banger. So he's doing a building native.
They've all
apps
lost a bunch
with
of
Rust.
weight. Have you seen these guys recently? Oh, look at
They're all handsome men. Are you kidding me?
They've all just gotten so.
They all have girlfriends now. They're doing well. And then
this is the good side of wealth.
And then Anthony's doing a vibe coding with Rust and AI.
Look at Anthony; he's like 60 pounds lighter than when he was.
Anthony looks fantastic.
Tony.
Anthony's such an inspiration. And then we're ending it with a Rusty vibe coding hackathon. I took out Keon was a judge earlier that I took him out because thanks, Coob.
Yeah, well, I don't do anything in Rust.
Good.
Okay,
You're
I'm
good.
sorry.
No, you're fine.
All right.
And then, if you want to check it out, check out the Meetup page. We have a ton of events in April for coding. If you want to level up, the pitch. This is the pitch. Are you ready for the pitch? The pitch is this: ready to level up your dev game? Join our Building on Rust workshop series starting in April. Boom, that's the pitch.
Whoa, bro.
Wow. We've been doing these vibe coding sessions. We did one last Saturday. We're going to do another one tomorrow.
Did you hear about some great advice that Austin got?
No, what happened?
Oh, I don't want to. I don't want to. He might want to keep it under wraps. Secret project. Him and Juan got assigned.
Okay, I'll check it out tomorrow.
Yeah,
or today maybe. Cool. And that's all of me. We're gonna jump into Keon's top stories. Keon, what's this?
Yeah, so Simple Stacker. Listen to Return of the Strong Gods or read it. I'm not exactly sure, but they did a great book review of it. More or less talks about after the two world wars, we developed a point of view that the so-called strong gods, meaning religion, nationality, things that would kind of bind us together and make us feel like a unified tribe, cultural heritage, racial and ethnic solidarity, and family. Those are kind of that's what the author names as strong gods. We kind of disbanded them because we began to fear them because we believe that they were the source. This is the theory of the author, that they were the source of the world wars. And that's why we're in a position today where we lack those things, and we are seeking, kind of false strong gods in populist politics and people like Donald Trump, and so that's the base. That's the gist of the theory. Is there was like a cultural movement, an intellectual driven cultural movement to disband the strong gods, and lacking strong gods, humans become weak and febile. And
what does febile mean? That's
another word for weak. I'm just trying basically
feeble. You mean
feeble? But I think you can pronounce it either way. Maybe not. But yeah.
So what is this about then? It's just an opinion piece.
It's explaining the author's theory about why we're in the position that we're in, why we're in a populist political atmosphere, why we feel culturally
are we
disenchanted.
Are we in a populist?
Yeah,
I feel like we're in a corrupt political atmosphere.
Those are not mutually exclusive.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, those are compatible. But it's basically he's explaining his theory as to why we're in the position that we're in culturally, why we're not what we think of ourselves as once being, which is unified, happy to be American. I mean, there was a Gallup poll that I shared today that I think was recently released where most Americans aren't happy about their lives. I think it's 44% of Americans are happy about their lives. Don't quote me on that.
Wow.
But I think
really,
yeah. And just a few years ago, I think 2020, it was at 65%. So something's going on culturally. We are
I'm definitely more happy about being Texan than I am American, to be honest. But I've
Yeah.
always been that way, though. I think that's just the way we're raised in Texas.
Yeah. So you've maintained a strong God, is what the author would argue. One of your strong gods is
The Texas God, you mean?
Yeah, Texas. You have a sort of, it's not a nationality, but I don't know what you'd call that.
I mean, because we're force fed Texas
Propaganda?
history, propaganda. You're the best. We're the best. Texas-sized stuff in Texas. We're always going to be the best. That kind of thing. Best state, everything. And then you grow up and you still are the best. And then you see it with your eyes. And then now, like, everybody's moving to Texas because we are the best. So it's like even more solidified.
Yeah, maybe they're looking for, maybe Texas maintains some degree of nationality, even though it's just a state, while everywhere else is like,
Sucks,
yeah, we aren't, don't take pride in where you're from. Don't take pride in the state.
I feel like California was one of those growing up where I was like, oh, that looks like a cool state to live in. And then nowadays, I don't see that anymore with California. New York was one of those places too, where when I was growing up, people would be like, oh, that looks like that's a place people were proud to. And I don't see that anymore. Like,
Right.
They're kind of ashamed. Where else? Yeah, those are the other two states that I remember growing up when people would say like,
That's interesting.
yeah, even me when I was growing up and people would say, oh, I'm from New York. I'd be like, whoa, tell me about that place, you know?
Yeah.
But other than those two states, I don't know. Being from Texas, I don't know of other states where I would be. Oh, Hawaii, maybe. People would be like, oh, I'm from Hawaii.
Yeah. But
What about what about for you? Because you grew up in California. Like, do
Yeah.
you notice that shift somewhere along the way?
Um,
Because I definitely did notice that when at my young age. Because, like, in the '90s, for sure, California was popping.
yeah, I think there is some sense that even if you love California, you love New York, part of that tribe, being in the tribe that loves California or loves New York, part of that is you can't take too much pride in being from California or New York. It's kind of a weird thing. Yeah, that's
Really?
like, yeah, it's like they're kind of at weird odds, and that's I think what the author is getting to is like you're forced to think, to kind of contradict yourself because it's just we've been conditioned or taught or that believing like I'm from California and California is the best place on earth is dangerous because it leads to movements like the Nazi movement and stuff.
Really?
To have really strong feelings, really strong beliefs about your connection, your connection to a place
That's
or
wild.
people or beliefs.
That's so wild.
Yeah, but that's kind of his argument. It's like we tried to make people less passionate and less worshiping.
Yeah, that's wild. Maybe that's why Texas feels so much more unified. Because like you'll run into people in different parts of Texas. You're like, oh, you're from the Panhandle, or oh, you're from Houston, oh, you're from Dallas or whatever. Like we don't really drop shade anywhere, if that makes any sense. You know?
Yeah, you believe.
Yeah,
everyone
like
in
I wouldn't
Texas
live
is an
in
equal.
Houston or these other places, but
Yeah.
I'm like I don't drop shade at these places.
Yeah, you wouldn't call those people dirty or something like that.
No, I would never.
Yeah.
Interesting. Dang. So are you proud to be an American, Keon?
I like America.
Proud to be an American.
I don't know. We went out to beers like a few years ago with a guy
Coasting
who said he's like 5 generations have lived in Texas here, and they have property on property, and he seemed like a really interesting guy. And he's like, "Well, if America tries to take Texas, are you standing your ground with me?" And I'm like, "No." I'm like, "I don't have." I was like, "I don't have property here." I'm like, "America is an idea to me. Like, it's not a piece of land. I don't have anything here. America gave me freedom, and again, it's the ideas." But I'm not going to put my life on the line for you, guy, who has that heritage that I lack. I'm paying taxes, and I'm doing my part while I'm here, but I'm not going to die for America. I'm not going to die for other people who don't care if I die.
In the JFK movie, they talk about they said after JFK got assassinated, that was the turning point for America. Yeah,
Yeah, that is like
that was when everything
pretty
changed.
firmly after the
Yeah,
Second World War.
Like that was the cost. That was what it cost.
Was the downfall of America.
That was the patriotism. That was the.
Oh, the
That was what it cost. Like, yeah, you killed JFK and then you killed his brother, but this is what it cost you.
Well, I mean, you know, like I think the author might make the argument that JFK was maybe, you know, sort of a representative for the strong god tribe, and he was helping people form a national identity, a national association, because they liked him a lot, and that while he was like preventing us from going to several wars, and maybe later, it would manifest, all of our passion and our love of America would manifest in a great war.
Well, in the movie, they were saying that he was like for peace. I don't know. I wasn't around. I don't know. Maybe somebody smarter than me can talk about this. I need to stay in my lane. But in the movie, they were saying that he was for peace and stuff. But they said that they were actually going to go to. There's another movie they had recommended called like 13 Days, and they were saying that the Bay of Pigs or whatever, they were going to. There was actually a threat of nuclear war with like the Soviet Union, at the time, and he actually, no one knows this, but he actually de-escalated that, and but the military-industrial complex wanted it to happen because I don't remember. This is all like just me learning it through like don't trust this, but it was like they were saying that. The way they were looking at it at the time was they'd much rather wanted to get it over with because it would lead America in a way where at that time we had I don't know if we had more nukes than the Soviet Union, but we were in a much better place where if we would have taken care of them at that time, then we would have, I don't know, something like that. There was some strategic advantage at the time where if we would have acted on it. Anyways, but you should check out that movie. It's really good.
Cool. Also this book
too.
Eventually.
Because it's all connected. Cool. What's the next story you have here?
Oh, yeah. So this came out today, or I heard of this for the first time today.
AI 2027?
Through a Slate Star Codex blog.
Oh, I love this kind of design.
And then, so Scott Alexander has joined forces with an AI researcher that in 2021 basically predicted accurately, within in quite detail, that where we'd be with AI today. Wow! And this is before ChatGPT emerged.
Where'd you find this?
They had predicted this. So Scott Alexander published a blog today, and I found that somewhere, and then Carter posted this today. This wasn't me who posted this, but this is basically what Scott Alexander wrote about, is what he's working on right now. He's joined 3 other researchers, and they did a podcast recently, one of these popular AI podcasts. But him and 3 other researchers, they're trying to play-by-play predict how AI will emerge. I think all the way up to 2030, month by month. They say 2027, but you can see it all laid out here, and and they're bringing receipts. So they're actually trying to tie as much of their prediction to reality as possible. They're not just like hallucinating predictions.
Wait, so
these are really serious people.
So they're starting. Okay.
Yeah. So we're starting where we are now.
Stumbling agents.
Yeah.
Order me a burrito on DoorDash.
Yeah, and it could do things like that. And then you have, it calls OpenAI Open Brain, but basically says they'll be 3 to 9 months ahead of everyone. And he says they're focusing primarily on building AIs that help them build AIs. That is their focus.
So explain that to me like I'm a dumbass.
Okay. Let's see. Well,
you said they're building AIs to build AIs.
Yeah. So they're trying to build the best AI. They're trying to build the best ChatGPT that helps AI researchers build the next version of ChatGPT.
So right now they have ChatGPT 4.0 or whatever, right? And so that's going to help them build ChatGPT
Yeah.
5.0.
So they're biasing their AI development towards helping further accelerate AI development.
Well, that's smart.
Yeah. So it is smart.
So it's almost like those what do they call them? Nomatons or what are they called?
Automata?
Yeah, that's what they have in sci-fi.
Right. It's self-referential, recursive, powerful process.
Dude, are they getting the same ideas from sci-fi? It's so cool.
No, I mean, I think this is just
Science fiction. Arthur C. Clarke, baby.
I think it's
laws.
I think it's an obvious choice to make if you're like
Yeah.
thinking clearly about this kind of stuff.
But it's kind of cool how anyways, that's for another day.
Yeah.
Yeah, keep going.
So
This is fascinating.
yeah, so they're saying they're going to build by I think late 2025 they're going to have a 3 times 10 to the 27 flops of a cluster.
What is a flop again? That's
Is it like floating point operations?
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, you got that right. Nice.
Yeah. Okay. And it's just like a measure. It's just like how big, how powerful.
Yeah, or like kind of how we would measure terabytes or something, right? But
yeah,
like,
that's for
this is
storage. This is
thinking.
for computing.
Yeah, computing. All right,
Yeah.
cool.
And then they describe. He did in the blog I read earlier. He did an accelerated version of this timeline, but it's basically we get very serious AGI, and I think by
What's early 2026? Can we keep going down?
if you want to,
Yeah,
I haven't read this whole thing, so that's. But
How far did you read?
I read until basically the late 2025. I haven't read. That's why
okay.
I wanted to share it, but I hadn't read through it yet.
Coding
He shared it
automation.
an hour before the podcast.
Early 2026 coding automation. What does this mean? Server competing publicly released AIs now match or exceed.
Real quick, I don't know if this thing is on.
It is on.
Oh, cool. Keon, do you feel like these projections, they're like projecting numbers basically from where we currently are and like, I guess, knowledge of who's working on what. Is there assumptions being made here about, because the argument about AGI or whatever is still happening, but at the same time with these GPT designs, these like human reinforced learning designs, we're just getting better and better outputs. But in a lot of ways, for me, this feels like kicking the can down the road of like getting better and better outputs in more and more context windows. But does that really equal the sum of these predictions? Because the sum of these predictions is assuming AGI. And so for me, it's kind of a leap to say, oh yeah, we'll have all this additional computation and power and more floating point calculation, therefore AGI.
Oh no, I don't. So I don't know. I haven't read this whole thing again. So I don't think.
yeah.
I'm not sure they're actually predicting AGI in the sense where it's like directly competitive with the human intelligence. To the extent that I've read this, they're predicting a type of intelligence that is distinct from human beings, but is incredibly productive and useful.
Yeah,
and yeah. So, I don't know the accelerated timeline that I read in a blog that Scott Alexander posted was that the United States government eventually begins taking this seriously, and then it becomes somewhat of a race between China and the United States. And then it might, by that point, people begin taking alignment seriously and whether AI is aligned with humans seriously. And then they kind of throw up their hands and they're like, we might be able to re-steer things and make it aligned or not. That's my memory of the accelerated timeline I read this morning. But I would read this again. Scott Alexander is like the bloggiest blogger that has ever blogged. He writes really well, and it'll be a very good read. But yeah, you can see the timeline on the right. They're kind of visualizing
Yeah, that's really cool.
the whole thing, and so by this point, 2027, you have 190,000 reliable agent copies thinking 25 times at the speed of a human.
They're predicting the theft of Agent 2 by China. Wow. It's already happened.
Yeah, a lot of people believe that's happened with DeepSeek because DeepSeek was distilling is the word they use.
Yeah. Distilling.
Yeah.
Wow. Clever.
Yeah.
Alignment for Agent 3. Yeah, I mean, kind of like my comment before is like, it's kind of a midwit comment because it's like, what does it matter if it's AGI?
Yeah.
Because these outputs we're getting are so amazing that it effectively, practically plays the role that you would want an AGI to play. So, you know, it's semantics. Who cares?
Yeah. Yeah. The practicalities of it are as consequential as AGI, whether it's conscious or sentient or whatever.
I don't want to blow up the scope of this conversation, but I'm wondering, Keon, what are you thinking about, like, looking around at what's possible right now? How are you thinking about development and, like, building out engineering team and scaling engineering operations with the tools that we have at our disposal now with like AI agents with Cursor? Because I'm rethinking everything over the last few weeks.
Oh, yeah. I have done some pretty productive vibe coding for where I'm the consumer, the producer and the consumer of the product. I do not yet trust it to take a massive task and do it well without me having to like micromanage the crap out of it where it's like almost counterproductive.
Yeah.
So like designing a database model that allows for like optimistic locking and proxied lightning payments. I do not trust it to do something like that for me. But all of us are using Cursor. We all have a Cursor subscription. We're all using Cursor, and so we're basically doing that. And we've been using for a long time. We had used CodeRabbit AI to do automated code review, which is probably a lot better now. But I try to be abreast of everything that's going on, so that I can use what is there. I think building AI into products, at least social products, as if they're a human being talking to people, I think that's a little too early to start doing that and making productive use of that, aside from certain applications like education and stuff, where it's much better than nothing, or much better than an static explanation of
like
something.
just simple question answer.
Yeah.
Kind of UX. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that kind of stuff is really awesome. But I see people talk. They're like, I'm going to build a social network where it's only AI that you talk to. I just don't.
Sounds
I don't
fun.
get the point personally. But
What? So X?
it's too early. Yeah, it's too early to maybe do that for me. But as far as development, I don't know. I haven't really seen, other than using Cursor a little more to where I'm the producer consumer, and chatting with them about ideas that really they don't understand is what most of the feedback I get. If the idea is sufficiently complicated, and not just generating code and more conceptual with code, I have a bit of a hard time with it, getting what I want. And that's where most of the leftover tasks for me, that's like the last mile where I spend most of the code comes easy anyway. I don't know. How about you? So what are you?
I have some thoughts on this because I've been talking to a lot of people, just like from all over different places now. Like obviously I hang out with you guys all the time, so I always hear the developer side of things. But I'm starting to put all these pieces together now, and I'm starting to see it more fleshed out just from hearing from like creators, developers, the builders, entrepreneurs, the VC. Like I'm starting to get a clear picture and understanding of like where it's headed now, and I'm starting to understand like I think what we're gonna get, and I think this is kind of like just where it's headed, and I don't know when this is gonna happen, but this just kind of even alludes to it even more. I really think even more in the future, community and these cultural places, these hubs are even going to be far more important than ever. And I also think that builders and entrepreneurs are going to be able to make far faster apps at a faster clip, and you're going to see people that are going to be able to make. I'm just going to use this arbitrary number. You don't have to attach it to anything, but just like 100K recurring revenue apps per month different disciplines, different disciplinary type of apps all over the place. And I think you're going to see that from these kind of new types of companies that are just doing multiple types of apps from different types of ecosystems. And I think what's going to happen is you're going to see more of that proliferation, kind of like what we saw with the App Store initially, Keon, when the iPhone did, where we saw a lot of like apps come out, but not at the speed where it was just like one developer. But I think now you're going to have like this one developer, this one team, this one builder is going to be able to do like 12 apps, one app per month, that type of thing. And if they're smart enough, they'll optimize for revenue first. And I think this also hurts. I mean, I don't know if it hurts VC or helps VC, but I think VC will then in turn have to more strategically serve infra before anything else now, because I think infra is where a lot of these type of companies are probably going to be the most investable now, because a lot of these 100K type of apps are going to be the ones that they will go to first.
Yeah, because the infra is like real moat. It's
Sure.
like you can't prompt infra.
And then the
That's
other,
like the asset.
Not yet, at least.
Well, yeah.
So
Make an MCP for.
So the last key
For
piece
infra.
here though is the creators, and I think that line's getting blurred even faster, and I think this proves it even more. So you're going to start having creators now move into the dev and the builder space now. So that's going to blur even more. But I think there will always be an upper hand coming from these different disciplinary type of people that have higher skill sets than others. So I think what's going to happen is you're going to have these people merge together now. So so all that's happening. And then the last piece, and you're kind of already seeing it now because the music stuff is happening faster than all these other things are happening. And I've been paying attention to that way more closer. And so on the music stuff, what's really interesting is like they're already launching like these Spotify type of like apps that have these AI generated artists and these AI generated music. And dude, like they don't sound great, but like for certain types of like pop artists, the very generic type of pop artists, they're gonna get replaced by AI, most definitely. They sound like all the generic country artists sound just as good. Like these AI artists sound just as good as them now. And I think over time, those radio type of artists are just going to go away. It kind of goes back to what we were talking about last week. I think it's going to be very hard to be unique. But I think over time, these people that build a name for themselves that are like legacy artists are going to make far much more money than ever before. But if you go on the music side, like it's moving fast over there. And sure, that's going to take more time, but I wonder what that looks like for developers. Like it's even more important now to make a name for yourself as a developer, as a creator, as a brand onto yourself, because you can probably leverage that in the future by certain tool sets that you use, by certain. I think remember Marcus was talking about that like a couple years ago, or like last year, where he was talking about like you would just sell your pleb devs package thing or whatever. Like I don't know. I'm starting to see all these things kind of take place now. It's just like it's moving so fast. It's exciting as hell though. Like I'm super excited by this. Mm-hmm. It's so exciting.
Yeah.
Anyways, that's just my thoughts on it.
Yeah, what were you? I figured you had an answer to your own question, Austin.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm figuring it out in real time. Like I'm eating a lot of like the things that I've said about AI and coding. Like I'm kind of eating my words a little bit.
You mean it's better than you anticipated?
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's moving faster, and kind of these arbitrary lines I was drawing in the sand are getting pressed again and again. And I'm like, okay, I'm looking at this through the wrong framework, and I need to update my priors kind of thing.
Yeah.
And this has happened a few times over the last few years, but like about 2 or 3 weeks ago, I had a real big kind of day and a moment when I started using Cursor Agent and felt like I figured out how to use it. It was like the ChatGPT moment for me, where like 2-3 years ago, like I remember the day I was in Pleb Lab and used ChatGPT for the first time and was kind of just like in this fugue state for the next 2 days because it really completely shattered my I understood immediately that how I work now is different forever. Or not forever, but until the next great improvement, and that the way that I used to work is gone.
Yeah.
And that's like, wow, that's really, that can be really demoralizing when you're like a developer and like so much of your identity and your moat that you've made for yourself and how you have identified yourself is being able to do these things that almost no one else can do and understand these things that almost no one else can understand. And now just like, any retard can just like, haha, I made an app that you wouldn't have been able to write like 2 years ago on your own, even as a full-time developer. So yeah, updating my priors, but like
it's accelerating at an exponential rate. That's basically the assumption.
It's kind of interesting too, because like there's models out there that are about the creator economy and how that's going to go to like, I forget how many billion it's going to go to. And then you look at some of these other models that are out there and they all go to zero or near zero. Like they're going the other way. And it kind of falls in line with what's going on. So that's where when I see these things, I'm like, fuck, that means everybody's just getting paid directly. Or not getting paid directly, but it removes so much middlemen than ever before. Because you no longer have to go and get investment for shit. You're just going to be like, just go straight direct to users.
You don't need as much capital.
Yes, you don't need no capital.
Yeah, and I can effectively now skip from being like a solo founder to just being a like pseudo CEO.
Exactly.
Because but it's actually really overwhelming and hard because it's like, oh my gosh, like I could have this whole design arm of pleb devs now, and they have like these marketing AI e-girls. I could have like a whole marketing arm with like this just hot girl that would never work for pleb devs, but just don't question it.
And that's kind of where I see it all going. It's kind of astonishing. That's just kind of been in my head the past couple of weeks, but it really didn't really click until just now, where I'm just like, and then I had a conversation with Christopher earlier. We're walking, and we were all kind of coming to the same conclusion at the same time. And we're like, oh fuck, like I guess everybody's just realizing this all at once. It's really cool. I love this type of disruption because it's just like it falls in line with it. People adjust, humans adjust to whatever circumstances they do.
I don't even call it disruption. I think it's just I would call it improvement at this stage.
Yeah,
personally, but I don't.
You got any thoughts, Juan?
Some people might.
Yeah, go for it, Juan.
So I'm a big fan of the All In podcast guys. At least I listen to pretty much everything they produce. And one of the things and trends they've been talking about for like maybe a year is that it seems like, so Chamath, and I think Chamath in particular has pivoted to, instead of looking for companies to invest, let's say multi-million seed rounds into companies, he's like shrunk the amount of investment he does into companies down to like $50,000, but he's like multiplied the amount of companies he invests in.
Okay.
And the thinking is, because the cost of software production has collapsed thanks to AI, then the amount of the size of teams that are gonna come out, or you could get smaller teams with lower overhead. And so you're going to get a boom of startups. And so he's just throwing money at a bunch of small startups with small teams instead of trying to do the big ones.
Yeah,
right?
Thinking that one of them is going, or the smart ones, the ones that succeed, are going to take advantage of this rather than trying to do things an old-fashioned way.
Right. That's the other thing. Right?
So now as a founder, you need to do more with less money, basically.
No, but you can do more.
You can, but it's like an expectation.
Yeah, but you have to change mindset a bit, probably, to do it. You have to learn how to vibe code. Well, that's why we really need
we
a
have
course.
a workshop tomorrow, right?
Yeah.
Which apparently I'm running.
Oh.
I don't know. Somebody told me. Asked me if I was running it.
Cool. Nice. That was a good conversation.
Yeah, this is a great. I'm probably gonna read this whole thing. So, it'd be nice to get a handle on it.
That's all the news this week on Stacker News Live. We're gonna jump into the top Cowboys. Let's do it. Yeehaw, Keon. Let's go into the top Cowboys. We're no longer doing the top stackers. We got the one stacker in hiding. Cube, undisciplined. 117 blockchain book fell down. He fell down one this week.
Really?
Right.
No, I don't think that
at
happens.
4. He was at 4 last week.
Yeah, I don't think that happens. That would mean
117 went up.
I don't think 117 can cross them because this is it's a day streak. So
Can we do
it's not
like a cowboy
117.
analytics here to dox the hidden cowboys? Do some like on ranch
EK, can we do that?
analytics.
You can do that if you want.
Yeah,
you can-
I'm not going to.
Okay.
But, you know,
What else we got? Jason B. Rothbardian.
Yeah. Den has maintained it for
How do you
long
pronounce
time.
that? Is it?
Den Lillapon, I believe.
Oh, okay. Den Lillapon.
Yeah.
All right. Bell curve. Simple stacker. Suarez. EK is 29.
Look at that.
I should be up there. Yeah, I'm 41. Nice. Yeah, I've been on stacker news a lot this week. Carter.
Trending.
Webster. Goria. Sana. Jimmy Song.
Nice.
Nerd to Ninja. Yeah, pretty good week.
This is how many sats they've earned.
This is
all time
This
sats.
is actually the most popular segment in Bitcoin, believe it or not.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, Ben Sessions
everybody tunes in for this session.
Had his lawyer service a cease and desist. Over
I
this.
don't know.
Yeah, but this
what
is how much everyone stacked. So this is all time, everyone. But this is mostly ranking people by how
I know
long
who
they've
this person is,
maintained their
but
cowboy
we say
hat.
this out of respect that we
You
don't.
get it by posting every day.
We don't. It's an Easter egg, so you have to discover it.
I'm pretty sure this is
And-
Darth Coin right here at number 7.
Oh, that could be Darth.
Pretty sure
Maybe
number
not though.
7.
I don't think he likes.
Or he's number 14.
I don't think he likes the gamification stuff.
Oh, you don't think he's in here? Wait, Darth Coin's not in.
I mean, he's definitely in here, but I don't think he plays the
Yeah.
game.
He doesn't hide though.
A Baroque, I think that's Haley from Presidio.
Nice. Corns reporter. There you go. All right, that's all we got. We're gonna jump into the fountain stuff because we haven't done that in a while.
Yeah.
It's been a while, so let's go into the. Let me see. Which one was the last one we did? It's probably been a few episodes.
stay in your lane.
Where was that at? Oh yeah, we did the Zap Value for Value one. Gray Ruby said Zap. Blockchain Book says can't wait for the print zine Zap.
It says issue number 1. I don't know why it's
Oh.
so big. I expected it to be smaller. I think
Who's that on the front cover?
that would be Command
Oh,
over there.
Doxed.
BTC tech support.
BCD
Docs.
tech support.
Double docs.
Yeah, let's give out all of his pseudonyms.
Wait, isn't that the second issue?
Blue slime.
Yes, this is the second issue.
The second issue.
triple
Okay.
doxed.
The Austin issue. We call this one the Austin issue.
Quadruple doxed.
Austin
the-
issue,
the
not
editor.
featuring Austin.
Editor and artist. Yeah.
So Blockchain Book, that one's coming
probably
to
like
you.
a secret love letter to you.
That one's coming to
Probably
you.
scan it. I don't
I don't know where that was.
From your
Oh, that
avatar
was from
somewhere?
the convention center.
That's from Bitcoin Plus Plus. We're doing the hackathon.
You got
doing,
Austin in the background.
Ellen Inbound.
People have better photos of me than me. I don't have.
Well, why would you take photos of yourself?
Yeah, one
You're
time I
not-
took a photo of Topher. He's like, "You don't got a better
You're
photo
not a
than that."
narcissist.
Actually, I do have a photo of you. There's one. Where's that? I have to find out. Cool. Then we got one from Blockchain Book. It says, "Well, I didn't know PlebDev and PlebPoet were married. Mind blown.
Doxed.
Triple doxed.
Well, they both
Everybody's getting doxed today by Blockchain Book.
share a name prefix, so
I helped
Yeah,
her with the name.
was that planned? Yeah, was that planned?
probably.
I mean, you know,
Match
it's a good
matching.
namespace. It's like you want to frame yourself as a poet in Bitcoin. How you going to do it, right?
You don't want to be a Bitcoin poet.
Yeah, like
There
what
probably
is
was
that?
already a
Blood
Bitcoin poet, yeah. Undisciplined says a territory owner definitely wants a slice of the zine pie.
Oh,
What does that mean?
I have no idea, but
Oh, I think I said
This-
that
we're still
wanna-
trying. We're still trying to just figure out how to get it.
how to ship it.
Oh, he wants a story in there.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Right?
okay.
Yeah, so you make it in the top 5. I mean, that's kind of a cool incentive if you make it in the top. I barely fell outside the top 5. Apparently, Jana told me that for the issue she's putting together right now. But if you make it in the top
Wow,
5,
She staved off nepotism.
that's right. She was like, "Hey, you got booted off the list.
Dang.
Sorry." And I was like, wow, okay, is
That's
dinner ready?
harsh, dude. Harsh.
Dang.
Cold.
Cold dinner,
All right.
dinner served cold.
Wow.
Gray Ruby says, or Undisciplined said, Gray Ruby doesn't know how to spell American place names. What is American place names again?
I think he's talking about maybe about like cities and states because Gray Ruby's from Canada. It's like a dig on Canadians.
Oh, gotcha.
He's basically saying he's a ignorant Canadian.
Gray
Doesn't
Ruby
know
said,
Americas.
Gray Ruby said Zap. And then user 401 said, listening to Stacker News live inspired me to quit vaping.
Whoa.
That's a big one.
It's a huge
Y'all are talking about quitting vaping?
No.
We were. I think I was talking about not drinking.
Yeah. Yeah, I think Keon was talking about quitting drinking.
Yeah, Carr thinks it was because I was quitting. It was not. It was about quitting drinking, but it might be all of the nicotine gum I chew,
Yeah.
which I hope does not inspire you to continue vaping.
Wait, you still chew nicotine gum?
I chew tons of nicotine gum.
didn't know
I
that.
probably chew the most nicotine gum in Texas, I would guess.
Oh, should also mention, I love the name change. They're called the SS Pod now instead of Stacker Sports Pod.
Oh, that's cool.
We got to bring our A game now.
It's like a submarine.
Keon, we got to bring our A game now.
Or that, maybe not.
SS
I mean,
Pod is-
SS.
SS
you know, maybe
Pod.
not the best,
Oh, right.
maybe not the
SS
best
Pod.
acronym.
Yeah.
SNL Pod.
Austin, wide enough to be sensitive to these things.
What's SS Pod? What's
I'm
wrong with that?
educated, so.
Yeah, I think it's a cool name.
Public school educated.
And then we're
Knows
the
what
points
SS
challenge.
means.
This is the last weekend for the points challenge. Yeah, I haven't made a single point. So
Dude, what are you doing?
I picked Houston this week, so I expect them to lose. So, oh, I forgot to mention. There's this. Hey, EK, what's the item number for the last post wins? Can you give it to me?
last comment wins.
Last comment wins. Yeah. I don't know. Your search is kind of.
It's been improved quite a bit.
Oh, that's
What is it?
that's a
last
cool
comment?
idea. Like you did on a thread.
Oh, wow! Y'all search works now.
I threw a bounty. Okay.
No, this is the wrong one. You want
Oh.
you want the two. You want Bitcoin experiment. That's the right
BTC
title
experiment?
for it.
24.
All right, so Undisciplined want me to bring this up. Bitcoin experiment. What?
That's it. Search. There you go.
So he wanted to bring this up. Ken made this experiment 2 years ago, 1 year ago.
Yeah.
He says, I'd like to perform a social experiment. It's simple. As soon as 24 hours passes without a new comment on this post, I will give the final comment 100% of the zaps this post receives, minimum 1,000 sats. Will you remember to comment? Remember, the first comment gets nothing. The last comment wins. And currently at 100,000 sats.
Wait, so he continued after 24 hours.
Well, no. There's been a comment.
So, yeah. Yeah, I did. I started
Several
it recently.
people are maintaining the experiment. They have
So-
not. You have to, someone has to stop.
yeah.
No one has. Basically, no one comments for 24 hours. Then the game is
Yeah,
over.
so right
Yeah.
now the last comment was this one. No, hang on.
Are they putting
This one
hex?
5
Yeah,
hours
it's
ago.
like
This
some
one
kind of
5.
code.
Simple Stacker commented 5 hours ago.
Is that a hex?
Yeah. Stackers are really.
This is
come
like
to-
stack
come to real-
chain.
Come to realize, Keon, stackers are gamblers.
I mean,
They're hardcore gamblers, dude. Sorry,
it
undisciplined.
makes sense. It would attract people who are
They're hardcore gamblers.
into money things.
They're like hardcore gamblers. I mean, they're philosophical hardcore gamblers.
Well, certainly the sports territory guys, but I think they like.
I mean, but they're philosophical though.
Yeah, they like that. We have a lot of economic games. They like economic games. Gambling is a type of economic
All right,
game.
over under BitcoinDev mailing list gets banned again, or last comment wins.
I don't think
first.
this will ever stop. There was at one point I was.
You don't think this one will ever stop?
I don't think so. Because there was at one point where it was DOSing our servers, and it would just someone would load the page several times. They'd get a comment, they'd visit it from their notifications. It would take out the server for like 5 seconds a couple times a day, and then I had to add pagination, so we only load some of the comments
Wait.
rather than all of them.
So you think this is gonna?
I was going to take it offline to prevent it getting DOS, but I was like, it's too important.
So you think this will actually be the thing that kills Stacker News then?
No, I don't. I think it might be the single thing that keeps it alive.
What if it gets to 1 million sats?
That'd be great. Yeah, maybe a stacker, one of these whale stackers will come along and donate more to this experiment, so we can get all of Bitcoin commenting on this thread.
Dude, what if this goes on for like 20 years and then it gets to like 2 Bitcoin or something? That'd be crazy.
What if the original poster gets hit by a truck?
That's true. There is no inheritance plan. Check out Liana Wallet. No, I'm just kidding. They've been doing that.
I actually think, I think you're right, Keon. This will always go on forever. I don't think it's going to stop.
Yeah.
I think it would be cool. So you could do this in an automated way. So you could make, because the thread is just like the platform where this competition is happening. So let's say I have a bot, completely open source. Maybe even you can view the logs of this bot. And this bot has very simple rules. When a gap of X amount of time occurs without a comment, the pot will be given to the last commenter. So then it can go on ad infinitum. You could actually audit it and see that, like, okay, the bot is still working. It's waiting. Oh, no, another comment came in. Maybe next time, right?
So you're saying
Because you're relying on people. It's at some point those people will stop paying attention.
Right.
So, okay, maybe that's a way I attack this.
Ken checks
Bitcoin
in.
experiment.
You can go here. He checks in every once in a while and says, I'm still here.
He mentioned he uses the push notifications.
I don't know. He's only been here.
Oh, goodness.
He hasn't been here since November
distracting.
last year.
No, but his first item was 51,000. So that was, we're at near 1 million.
I feel like he's just here every once in a while.
Okay, a new idea. Ken, can you get, some Bitcoin company, I don't know, Lightspark or something, to
Lightspark.
to sponsor
A bot.
somehow sponsor this this thread. Maybe they get a pinned post with like an advertising banner, and they can add to the prize pool.
Yeah.
No.
Carl loves it.
Idea.
No.
I mean, I have an idea.
Okay.
No.
This
Go for it.
this might be the solution to the empty blocks, guys. We just gotta build a smart contract, and you gotta send some satoshis to it, and then when people stop for X amount of blocks,
Yeah, last transaction on Bitcoin.
gets the pot.
Yeah, it gets all of the block subsidies for the rest of the time.
There you go, guys. Problem solved.
Well, we'll see what happens with this.
Yeah,
Cool. There you go, Undisciplined. I shielded just like
Well,
you-
I mean,
just like
I don't
you
know why
wanted.
Undisciplined he wants competition. That's
No, I think he just wants to like get this out there into the.
I see. He thinks it's like a sneaky thing that only
Yeah,
a
I
few
think
stackers
he's-
know about.
I think he just didn't think enough people knew about it.
What if he just takes his hats and walks away?
Ken?
Yeah, but I think you're right, Ken. I don't think anybody's. I didn't even know about it till you tagged me the other day. I didn't know this was going on.
Oh.
Oh, go ahead, Ken.
Ken's been on
I
second.
also
Go ahead,
have,
Igor.
maybe I didn't check in on a while, but I also have another experiment running, and I said I'll pay the person who gets a common timestamp that ends with 3 zeros. And I think everybody gave up because it's too unpredictable. Does that make sense?
Like a millisecond timestamp.
Yeah,
Like-
literally you need to hit
You need to hit the exact millisecond. So yeah, you could do the odds on that. That's like a millisecond is 1,000th of a second, right?
You need to try 1,000 times, then you will get it
Yeah.
right by chance, or you try to predict the latency.
Yeah. So if you try it at like a set interval 1,000 times, in a perfect universe, you hit it.
But I think everybody gave up, or nobody got the goal.
We did have one competition, I think before Ken's competition, where I think it was the second to last comment wins the pot. And that one didn't do nearly as well, because I think that was just too confusing. And it might not have been the second to last, it might have been like the second place in terms of Zap ranking. It was like a little complicated, but it was like this kind of fun game.
Yeah, Stagger's hilarious, dude. Yeah, I don't think it's ever gonna. Yeah, I think you're right, Ken. I don't think it's ever gonna.
Yeah, there's too many people playing it now, and I get that they've run out of things to talk about, so they'll just they'll share references to my old posts from like 3 years ago, and I just get kind of spammed.
Search for first comment wins in almost in parentheses. Yeah, this is the one with the timestamp, which was too difficult.
Yeah, way too difficult. EK.
But I did get 107, so that's pretty good.
Yeah. Awesome. Cool. Stackers. You have yourself a great weekend. Keon.
Zap.
There you go.
We did it, guys.